Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today, let's continue with part 3 of the Black Crusades, as we talk about Crusades 6 through 9. Let's get into 40 facts about the Black Crusades. When Abaddon ascended to command of the Sons of Horus following the Slave Wars, not every warrior of the Legion swore allegiance to him. Many of the traitors clung to their worship of Horus as a god, believing that he would one day return to lead them and punish those who had forsaken his oath. One of these splinter warbands was the Sons of the Eye, led by the Chaos Lord Dracarth the Sightless. Dracarth had formed the Sons of the Eye out of those Sons of Horus who refused Abaddon's oath. A former battle brother of Abaddon's, Dracarth had been one of Horus's captains, escaping in the chaos after the Sons of Horus's demon world of Malium fell to the Emperor's children during the Slave Wars. Dracarth and his warband fled deeper into the Eye, only to return time and again to launch raids against multiple demon worlds, as well as other renegade warbands. They initiated the Battle of Keening Deep, where the Sons of the Eye defeated the Chaos Lord Voslok and his World Eater warband, claiming their fortress and hurling their foes' skulls into the world's soulfire. Dracarth personally ripped Voslok's demon axe from his grip during the battle, turning the treacherous weapon upon its former master. Abaddon had heard whispers of Dracarth's escape and treachery from his cabal of chaos sorcerers, who also claimed that one old ally would one day rise to subvert the Black Legion, twisting its loyalty with the memory of the dead Primarch Horus. Under the disguise of truce, Abaddon made a pact with the Sons of the Eye and allied with them during the Sixth Black Crusade. Abaddon wanted to make an example out of the Sons of the Eye, one that would serve as a dire warning to any that would consider challenging his power. During that campaign of the Sixth Black Crusade, Abaddon besieged the Imperial Forge world of Arkreach, offering Dracarth and his Sons of the Eye an equal share of the plunder. For months, the two forces of Chaos Space Marines fought side by side against the defenses of the Adeptus Mechanicus, bombarding their great forge cities from space. Finally, the traitors stood triumphant in the smoldering ruins of the great Manufactorii. Mechanicus' dead littered the ground. As Dracarth extended his hand in greeting, Abaddon grasped it with his own, only to thrust the claw of the Talon of Horus into his fellow Chaos Lord's gut. Dracarth lived long enough to see the Sons of the Eye bow to Abaddon and be reabsorbed into the Black Legion before the War Master of Chaos tore out his skull and spine. Thus did Abaddon deliver a dire warning to any who dare challenge his power. The Seventh Black Crusade began when the Black Legion fleet slipped out of the Eye of Terror undetected and fell covertly upon the worlds of the Imperium. Whole planets were lost before the Emperor's armies could muster the force to repel the traitor legions. Abaddon proved himself a masterful tactician and a match for the combined Imperial Navy commanders of the battle fleet Obscurus, repeatedly outmaneuvering their scouts and confounding their attempts to bring him to battle. While the Imperium tried to find and defeat Abaddon's fleets, his Black Legion laid waste to Imperial settlements and star systems. In the volcanic depths of the Harness Collective, the traitor legion broke their great stem seals and left millions to die screaming as scalding clouds engulfed their cities. Black Legionnaires assaulted the Adeptus Mechanicus Void Station of Nice, deep within the Megorium Nebula. The traitors ransacked the Void Station, taking ancient Eldar artifacts recovered by the Adeptus Mechanicus. When Imperial forces arrived, they discovered the Black Legion gone, and the station decorated with the corpses of tech priests and servitors. When the Blood Angel Space Marine chapter battled against the forces of Chaos in Midian, Abaddon singled them out with implacable fury. He led a band of coronet berserkers into the teeth of the Blood Angel's devastator positions. Even the Blood Angels' own assault troops could not dislodge the frenzied warband and recapture the bodies of their comrades, but there is an obscure reference to the Blood Angels being saved by an unidentified Space Marine chapter of mysterious origin. Written within the Canticles of Cassandra Lev, volume 151, the sisters' accounts of the War of the Seventh Black Crusade mention of a great-clad Space Marine chapter who came from the outer night to aid the Imperium, and whose jagged maw did swallow the stars, and who, black gaze, did mirror the void of oblivion. In the course of the Canticle, this unknown chapter's ship attacked the pursuing forces, as Saint Lev writes, fell upon the servants of the Scald Ones with great fury from the darkness, unseen as the beast that lurks beneath the black waters. Death for death, blood for blood. Thus were the sons of Sanguinius bought respite, and did turn back upon their pursuers, and so were the damned traitors of the false god driven unto their ruin. Images of these events can be found upon the walls of the cemetery world of Hypastisis, created to house the honored dead of those of the war, depicted in repeated frescoes in bas-relief. Curiously, the faces of the intervening Space Marines depicted there are obscured with the featureless discs of black obsidian. This notable engagement is listed by the Imperial savants as a special, probable encounter recorded sighting of this notorious and mysterious Space Marine chapter. While the Ghost War would rage for many standard years before the traitor legions finally retreated to the Eye of Terror, a single engagement stands out among the long lists of bloody deeds. On the world of Macan, the Black Legion and its allies faced a unit of Death Company Blood Angels. The Traitor Legion had ravaged the world, putting its remote dust mill towns to the torch, and tearing apart the grand cathedrals of radiance raised to honor the might of the Emperor. Arriving in time to halt the escape of the traitors, the sons of Sanguinius set up defensive positions around the Black Legion's landing zone in an attempt to cut them off from their fleet. Although the conflict ultimately ended in the near extinction of the Blood Angels at the hands of Abaddon the Despoiler and his primary lieutenant, the Sorcerer Lord Iskandra Kayun, and the Swordmaster Telemachon Liras, the Blood Angels' Reclusiarch Thalcian Joris became one of the few Imperial heroes to ever land a blow against the War Master of Chaos. With his chapter devastated, the chaplain endured weeks of hardship in the wilderness and the constant trials of keeping his crazed warriors undetected on Macan. When the time proved right, Joris led his death company in a lightning raid behind enemy lines, butchering the unprepared, sworn warriors of the Despoiler's honor guard, and allowing the Reclusiarch to lock blades with Abaddon himself. It is said that the Chaos War Master still bears the scars of that battle, even 3 standard millennia later. It is unknown why the Despoiler honored Joris once the war was over, perhaps in mockery, or perhaps with nothing but sincerity. After Macan, hundreds of Blood Angel corpses were desecrated, their gene seeds ruined beyond recovery. Of all the chapters, only a handful of bodies were left undefiled. Reclusiarch Joris and his death company, clad in their battered and broken black ceramite, were seated in the makeshift throne made from the armor of those Black Legion warriors they had killed on the fateful night. In the final decades of the 37th millennium, the Blood Angels were a broken chapter, ravaged by the Black Legion on the world of Macan during the tumultuous time of the Ghost War. Although the Angels restored their strength over the following centuries, for the first time it introduced the threat of mortality upon one of the proudest and most noblest first founding chapters. The Black Legion and its chaotic allies struck out from the Eye of Terror in every direction as the 8th Black Crusade raged across the stars. At first, the Imperium could only guess at the Traitor Legion's plans, as some raids accounted for genocidal extermination of entire settlements, where others only seemed to cause limited carnage by the horrific standards of a Black Legion. On the moon of Ticus, 8 of the 20 crater cities were peeled open to the void, their inhabitants freezing in place while others remained untouched. The charterous pilgrim vessel, the Divine Path, was waylaid en route, and 999 of its passengers were murdered in ascending order of the pilgrim token they carried. The rest were left to weep over the fallen. In what later became known as the Skull Gather, tens of thousands of men, women, and children were killed across the Segmentum Obscurus, in a variety of ways and in specific numbers, their corpses left in ritualistic patterns. This slaughter was part of a plot to appease the Changer of Ways, the numbers and patterns creating a mathematical equation of terrible and profound perfection. While Imperial forces pursued the Black Legion, trying to bring them to battle, the Inquisition attempted to break the cipher, driving hundreds of adepts insane in the process. Finally, on the Forge world of Rithkarn, the traitors instigated a massive uprising of the mutant workers, plunging the world into chaos and ruin. In the confusion, the Black Legion sacrificed the Council of ruling Adeptus Mechanicus Tech Magi in a gear of their own manufacturi. With their destruction, the complex sequence of deaths was complete, and the Master of Fates was greatly pleased, providing unknown benefits to the future plots of Abaddon the Despoiler and the Black Legion. The 9th Black Crusade was yet again a Black Crusade led by the infamous Chaos Champion Abaddon the Despoiler and his Black Legion, launched out of the Eye of Terror in the 537th year of the 38th millennium, intending to bring about the demise of the naval fortress of Cancephalus. Abaddon led his forces against the heaving populations of the nearby world of Antisanis. Manacor Hive, the hive city that served as the seat of Antichenes's imperial commanders, was besieged by Abaddon's vanguard. The Black Legionnaires burned and butchered their way through the lower levels, while Abaddon himself stormed in the inner sanctums. By the time the forces of the Imperial Guard arrived from Cancephalus to reinforce the devastated survivors, Abaddon and his favored legionnaires have already left orbit, dropping a dozen cyclonic warheads onto the ruins of Manacor Hive. In a last gesture of contempt, the 17-year-long war that ensues robs both planets of their most precious resources, manpower. Without the fleets of Cancephalus to stop him, Abaddon is able to ravage the rest of the sector at will. During this time, the Lamenter Space Marine chapter is recalled along with a number of other crusading chapters by the High Lords of Terra to help deal with the rising threat of incursions from the Eye of Terror. The Lamenter's fell reputation for suffering bitter reversals and dark turns of fate worked against them during their defense of the hive world of Corellian. From a chaotic attack, the superstitious-bound Mortifier chapter refused to fight alongside the Lamenters, abandoning the planet rather than serve beside fellow Astartes they consider cursed. Unwilling to desert the hive world's population, the Lamenters held out alone against the Black Legion's onslaught for 6 standard weeks, suffering horrendous losses until the Ultramarines and the White Scars led a battle group that broke through the Chaos Warfleet to relieve Corellian. Reduced to barely 200 surviving battle brothers by their sacrifice, the Lamenters were deemed lost when their fleet disappeared into the Warp Storm soon afterwards, only to reappear more than a standard century later on the edge of the Segmentum Solar, having slowly battled their way back from the outer void. And those were 40 facts about the Black Crusade. Of course, we're going to have a part 4 now. So please subscribe to the channel to get that. We post new videos every single day. And if you're not a new watcher, then you're probably already subscribed. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. It's because of you that we continue to put out awesome videos. And don't forget, if you want some exclusive videos, please subscribe over to our Patreon page. A simple $1 is going to get you some exclusive videos. And of course, you're helping us put out more content. Thank you guys so much for listening. This was Gershwan with One Mind Syndicate signing out.